Let's talk about our relationship with the most powerful and, let's be honest, sometimes the most frustrating thing we own, our own mind. Because for so many of us, it feels less like a tool that we control and a lot more like a master that controls us.
You know that feeling, don't you? You sit down, you try to find just a moment of peace. You tell your brain, hey, let's just be quiet for a second, and boom, it's suddenly a roaring thunderstorm of thoughts. It's a universal struggle, and honestly, it can feel like you're losing a battle against yourself. It's almost like there's a radio stuck on inside your head. Just this constant broadcast of worries, to-do lists, random memories, you name it. And no matter how hard you look, you just cannot find the off switch. But what if the problem isn't that you can't find it? What if you've been looking for the wrong kind of switch this whole time?
Yeah, that whole search for an off switch, it leads us straight into a huge misunderstanding that most of us have, a really fundamental one, about how our minds are even supposed to work.
And here it is. This is the big one. Your mind is not designed to go silent. Just let that sink in for a second. Trying to force it to shut down is like trying to tell your heart to stop beating. It's not its job to be silent. Its job is to think. So this completely changes the game, right? Instead of fighting this impossible battle for silence, the real goal is to understand what the mind is for. It's about learning how to work with it, not against it.
And let's be really clear here. Your mind is your greatest asset. It's an incredible tool. It's the very thing that lets us solve problems, plan a trip, imagine a better future, write a song. It's the engine of all human creativity. It is not the enemy.
So if the mind isn't the enemy, then what is it? And how are we supposed to relate to it? Well, this brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. We need to learn to see the mind as a powerful tool, not as our master.
So what does mastering the mind even mean? It's not about forceful control. It's actually about something much more subtle. It's the skill of being able to watch your thoughts come and go without getting swept away and carried down the river by every single one of them.
To make this idea super clear, let's use a really simple analogy. Just picture your mind as a very powerful, very fast car. Now, when you're in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, you decide where that car goes. You can navigate turns, you can stop at red lights, and ultimately, you use the car to get where you want to go. You are in charge. But just imagine if the car suddenly had a mind of its own. If it just started swerving wherever it wanted, chasing random squirrels on the side of the road. It wouldn't just be unhelpful, it would be dangerous. It could drive you right into a ditch, or even worse. And that's the core difference. When the mind is your master, you get pulled around by every single thought. You're constantly overwhelmed by anger or anxiety. It's literally driving you off a cliff. But when it's your tool, you are in the driver's seat. You decide what to focus on. Your thoughts become conscious and purposeful, and they actually help you get to where you want to go. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually learn to get into the driver's seat? How do we practice this? Well, it turns out you can start with a very, very simple exercise.
It's really this straightforward. All you have to do is sit for a few minutes, close your eyes, and just watch what your mind does. The absolute key here is in step 4, don't interfere. Don't try to change the thoughts, don't judge them as good or bad, and please don't engage with them. Your only job is to watch.
Here's another really helpful way to think about it. Imagine you're sitting on a park bench, and all your thoughts are just people walking by. Some of them are interesting, some are kind of weird, some look angry. Your job isn't to get up and follow every single person down the street. Your job is just to sit there on the bench and watch them pass by. So what happens when you practice this simple little act of observation over time? Well, something pretty remarkable starts to happen. You begin to cultivate this sense of deep, stable calm. The results are really tangible. By creating a little bit of space between you, the observer, and your thoughts, you're no longer at their mercy. A critical comment from someone doesn't have to ruin your whole day. A scary headline on the news doesn't have to send you into a total panic. You're building a deeper, more resilient foundation of calm. At the end of the day, this isn't about not thinking. It's about gaining the wisdom to choosing when to engage that powerful mind of yours and when to simply let the stream of thoughts just pass on by. So it all comes back to this one powerful idea. The mind is the most incredible tool you will ever own. The whole point is to learn to use it and not let it use you. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. As you go about the rest of your day today, just notice who or what is really sitting in your driver's seat.